Alright, hello and welcome everybody. I think I'm also going to raid the DDO stream. Go monster. Start pausing some of these playbacks. Alright, excellent. Let's get started. Let's also words Michael. Alright guys, good morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Happy President's Day. President's Day is a pretty good holiday in my opinion. The biggest problem of course is the banks are closed. Alright, we have 800 XP. We're going to eat it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. We're going to turn on our party hat. We're going to summon our... I don't know which dog. Summon our... that companion. DDO Central's on the ball this morning. Kids with the retweets. On the ball. Alright, so before we jump in and get started, we're actually going to take a minute and clean up some stuff. I feel... workbank, it's probably not the most vital of weapons. Oh, I feel like it's been a long time since I DDO'd, and I'm not real sure what's going on. Alright. Our gear looks fine. Is this that new large gym bag we got? Yeah. We'll throw that off in here. If Java doesn't need it, we'll send it off to Ginger. But I have a feeling that one of my guys probably will want it. Okay. While we're here, let's make a couple of stacks of bows. Dog seems to be running well so far this morning. I apparently am still half asleep. Which is always a pleasant feeling. Tell you what. Also, I didn't eat yet this morning, so that's probably going to end up being a problem. I've been trying to grab at least a little snack before turning on the stream, but I didn't do it. I did not do it. Alright, so let's take a look at what's going on here. Level 6s. We got a Glade Watch Outpost Defense. We have Dead Girl. Probably get away with Dead Girl. Troglodytes get is Red Tom. We could probably do that. So yeah, let's go grab a little helper. And then we'll pop over to Three Barrel Cove and work on a few things. Alright. We decided we did not want to use Tower. Who did we use last time? We just used more of the level 7 helper. An Elven favored soul with Cure, Seer, Spoon, Staring Light, Lesser. I don't know if I know that guy. Let's give this guy a shot. Favorite souls tend to be pretty good. I probably just should have teleported. You know what? We're right here. Let's just do this one. Let's... Archer point... Oh, this is the one I was thinking of. Darn. We should have done Archer point defense last time. People trickling in yet? A couple people hanging out. It's holidays I think are tough. It's easy to sleep in. There's no XP to be had. I'm not going to worry about jumping down there for that chest. If I cared about the chest, I would just go get it. How are you looking? Not too bad. Alright, blow my honker. Hopefully for the last time this morning and just start on this quest. Alright. Troglodytes get. Whew. Let's see. I think they're going to cast these kind of spells on her. Let's get to work. Again, just the chill R1. It was a warm up. It's been a while. So there's an acid arrow. So far so good. And some fragments. I figure at some point we get some conversation going about something relevant and useful, or at least relevant. For those of you interested, I did get to go watch Black Panther. Thought it was pretty good. You know, in my typical fashion, I have a handful of complaints that keep it from being the most amazing movie of all time, but it was very, very good. And sets the current bar pretty high, to be just perfectly honest, for a movie so far this year. It'll probably be the kind of movie that that finally starts to win some major things, even though it does have some pretty major flaws. But none of those things were in the acting or the, you know, or the costumes or the stuff. There was some script issues mostly. So yeah, it could win. It could win something pretty easily. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to blow my nose again. Sorry. Be back. There were some things about it I really liked. Including a couple of the characters in particular. So, oops. Hugh. There we go. I'm not the most familiar with Black Panther as a character. I mostly know Black Panther from the Illuminati, and that's a very different Black Panther than what was in that movie. But I could see how that Black Panther got to where the other one is. Up while we're at it. Alright, so for those of you who may not remember watching the stream late, whatever, we are kind of like this weird glue together of Artificer and Druid. And the basic idea was going to be we'll use our rune arm to augment our spell casting, and we would really focus on crowd control and let our pets / people do most of the heavy lifting. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out because we can't use a rune arm. And cast our druid spells, which is where we're working on. We're working on druid life. So instead, now we're kind of like gluing activities together. Reaper. It's a Carnage Reaper too. It's not that big of a deal. See, what else do we do this weekend? Got to play a little bit of Magic. We recorded new 2 Trolls. I'll try to get that out pretty quick. I'm not good at necessarily getting things out when I say I'm gonna, so... I wonder if the dog can pull that lever from here. Nope, we're gonna... Ooh, we made it. I was hoping that just straight up jump spell would get us there, but was not confident. Can we get... No, don't kill him. That's funny. Alright. That's enough screwing around. Let's get to work. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not in the most like world chattily mood. Right this second. We got a bunch of shenanigans on my mind that I'd rather not deal with, so I'd rather discuss like literally anything. So hopefully you guys can start feeding in some much needed conversation topics here pretty soon. And this is the reason why I wanted to be use the arty stuff. It's just, especially in epics, it's so much stronger to be able to put yourself in positions like this and just eliminate the enemy. We're not proficient with our equipment. It's alright. Alright. Then I think we have to go back one more time for troglodytes. Alright. Tomb Part 2. Then I think we need to start working on apparently we're not going to be able to click the door. Here we go. I got one eye on Twitter and I didn't see any fire spells. I don't recall any fire spells. We'll throw some anyway. It's going to take ages to smash down. Stone Guard Ooze. See, what do we grab? We grab a disruptor. You put 10,000 disrupting bolts into something, sooner or later, somebody's got to pop, right? You would imagine. I would imagine. I do keep a Ghost Touch weapon on hand. That's currently this, as well as this. No, this. They're both using the red slot from the winter or the Halloween festival. I feel like the way this jelly ran over here, there's probably going to end up being a bro. Oh, you're there. $10,000 YouTube things all popped up at the same time. I wonder what happened. Huh, weird. Usually when an enemy mob runs towards someplace, it's because there's a there's a Reaper on the other side of the door attacking them. Come on, disrupt. Man, these black ones just don't want to disrupt, do they? Oh, they changed disruption to be Vorpal but for undead. Alright, well, screw that. My bad, I did not know that happened. Hey, Flameborn. How do you like it? Looks like you don't care that much. I was just looking to see if he drops a goodie. He did not. Thought we were gonna get ambushed here. I have to say the favorite soul's holding her own. I'm pleased. Dog's doing well. This is just Reaper 1 though. You know what? They're hurt enough. Go ahead and have them shrine. Go ahead, shrine. I don't think it's going to be like the most important thing in the world. But it costs me nothing for them to sit there while I open this door and shoot the hell out of this Plague Reaper. Of course, the biggest problem is that she's not going to be buffed, but that's okay. She'll just be able to shoot her way through this. Because she didn't have a lightning resistance. That was why. That ball lightning hit her real hard. That could be really interesting. Or something like it could have been really interesting, I should say. That particular variation of it's not the most exciting. We get ambushed. It's not. Maybe we can keep the dog alive. It'll continue to do well. Chests are dropping like they're hot, though. We have a Keen Great Axe of Antarctic, a Holy Vertigo, a Diversion Returning Armor Piercing, some cufflinks. If they weren't for the fact that these were bracers, I would strongly consider. If this was a ring, I'd definitely wear. There's like a window that I would wear it for sure. All right. We have half an hour. We could probably get through at least one more of the House D quests. So my niece was complaining about friendships, and I understand how it is for ladies, and I don't pretend to understand how it is for ladies, but I do know that it's different than for guys. Guys, I think if you can be friends for, what is it? I think they say like for 4 years, you'll always be friends. Yeah, this is not where I parked my car. Let's see. Just give a couple of generic buffs here. So, I pretty much always do this quest the exact same way. I usually don't go to this warship. Usually don't go to the warship. I usually end up on the... I try to go in the back door and get up to the high ground and work my way around. That's my preferred method for doing this quest. About half the time I end up teleported on this boat, and the rest of the time I end up over there. Anyway, my niece is complaining about her friends not being there for her and stuff, but she's made a lot of really bad decisions lately. And I can understand. We're almost around. Anyway, so they say, guys, if you can be friends for, it's like 4 to 7 years, you will always be friends. It doesn't matter if you never talk to each other. You talk to each other once every 7 years after that. It doesn't matter as long as you're friends for that period of time. And I would say I agree. People I consider friends from grade school and stuff are still, I'd still put them in friends category. There are people in my current adult life that I've known for a few years, and I don't speak to nearly as much as I would like to. Jeremy comes to mind. Jeremy lives in town. We were going to the gym together 3 times a week. Kind of gave that up. He kind of gave that up. And I don't really get to see him like I used to, but we still friends. He called with an emergency, I'd still be there. So I think it's way different for guys than girls. I'm going to work under the assumption that there'll probably be a Reaper in here, and that I probably want to be melee just for the extra defenses. Yeah, I could run down this hall, but I should go to the captain. That went really well. Surprised there wasn't a Reaper in here, though, to be truly honest. So I think we want to go this way. This way, back out to freedom. Yep, up the stairs. So I think what ends up happening first thing in the morning, for me anyway, since I started this new streaming schedule, I end up taking my wake up pills, which are not caffeine pills, but they do have a lot of caffeine in them. And I ended up taking my vitamins, which I think has some caffeine in them to help digest the vitamins, absorb the vitamins quicker. And I drink all that down with a pretty strong breakfast tea. And I think I'm just over caffeinating for being no caffeine for so, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm not real sure how we red alerted the dungeon. Just gonna stand here in this relatively protected alcove and just kill the things that are coming at us, I guess. I'm going to rewrite the summary today and continue to take a look at the Patreon stuff. I just got a chance to glance at it last week. I didn't get a chance to get deep into it like I had hoped. Boat Swan Jared. We got a Pandemonium pirate here. Let's get the dog a little extra love. I don't know where you're hiding, but let's throw you at your heel. Basically, this is the idea, like, be able to heal the minions. Crowd control what we need. Lots of slow and steady wins the race. I'm really curious where all my people are. Usually we're quite a bit bigger by now in the mornings. I feel like we might as well. At the very least, we could have an opportunity to spawn some good things, right? Doesn't look like we did, but we could have. Is that their dog? Nope, it's my dog. Oh, I also got to do the Monday update too at the arena. Optional kill one more pirate. Okay. Well, I feel like that's reasonable. We could probably kill one more pirate. Oh, I forgot to blow up the anchor. Just too busy patting myself on the back to remember to actually do all the parts of the quest. That's fine. Back the way we came. Doo 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 doo. I guess this gives an excuse to loot this chest. What opens that door? I guess I don't understand what opens that door. Go re-ship buff and go get the capstone quest, and then that'll probably take us pretty close to level time. Dog, you missed anything? Somehow you did not get the cold resist, looks like. Alright. So this is usually a quest that we just do on like 1. We're going to step it up to 2. I'm starting to feel like I'm waking up a little bit. I know this quest pretty well. So assuming I don't make a terrible mistake, it's a pretty big assumption. I think we're going to be in good shape. Well, apparently I didn't bring any shield scrolls, so... Alright, we got a guy up here doing his stuff. Oh no! We can get the caster real quick. We have the caster down and most of the rest of the stuff kind of falls away. We've got a couple of guys that are still aggroed on us, which is fine. By us, I of course mean me, unless you'd like to join us, in which case, all you had to do is be on the Sarlona server and be level appropriate. Oh, and ready for the paid trade. Jeez, these guys are just... blow my nose again here real fast too. Apologies. I have eucalyptus in the diffuser, but I don't think I have any peppermint down here. And that's the thing that really helps clear my nose in the morning, is the peppermint. And then if it's like really, really bothering me, the oregano is quite good at helping with that. Alright, everyone's good. But, I mean, not that I have a smeller, but the idea of, you know, making my room smell like a pizza place is not that appealing. I'm just getting this down and then we'll... Always clean up the... Yeah, just like that, clean up the thing with the smallest pile of hit points first. So you can get rid of it and then get the ball snowballed onto the next biggest, or the next smallest. You know, I thought I had my paralyzers too. Maybe worth the time to see if I can find it. I thought that my Dwarven Paralyzer was level 8. I thought I already had it in my backpack. Let's see. Out of ammo. We've gone through 2,000 rounds of ammo this morning. Upping that to 4,000 rounds of ammo. Apparently I did not put it in. Alright. Oh, if it's in here, I just sure as heck didn't see it. Yeah, I just... pardon. The first gust always catches me. I'm not real sure what I need to do to rearrange it where that first gust doesn't get me. Come on. Don't know if I'm going to reach from there without using the feather fall. Alright, well before we jump up there and miss, let's kill this Plague Reaper. Alright. Roar! Oh, good, we did it. Whew. Felt really weird. That whole little fight there. Some of those pipes could go out. They're not necessary for the experience, I don't think. We can to chase us through this. Come on. Wow, there's an awful lot of blurry miss. There we go. We got him into the fire now. He's gone. Usually it's down there on that end. There we go. All right. Really? Pirates got pretty lucky to come through that trap pretty much completely unscathed. Oh, that one took a bunch of damage. All right, that's fair. All right, I'm gonna throw some heals on everybody. I have both of them shrine. I'm gonna play the ooh, definitely groggy. There we go. Apparently that one now wants you to be right in its face. So this part, I have basically just started, like, not really running through, although kinda, trying to find a spot where you can kinda, like, make some plays here. Oh, oh no. Oh no, we died. Yeah, I just should have went through, I guess. Oh, we're still penalty boxed. We should be good. I think hopefully our healing amp is enough that our Ring of Trolls regeneration will kick in. If we get too close, I'll summon the... I'll summon our Hireling. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have, like, played in the trap so hard. Alright, well, close enough now. I think the trap's over there somewhere, right? No one likes you. Of course, if all that time when the trap's running, nothing. As soon as this trap's not running, all sorts of attackers. Anyone else gonna be problematic? No? Okay. I'm not gonna worry about this stuff. These guys are whatever. A lot of people ask me why I like DDO so much. You're seeing it right there. I mean, we took 2 hits, which are more than we probably needed to take. Oh, I do need to go back to Shrine. Oh well, I guess we're gonna fake it. Reaper off. Pirate King doesn't take very long. We'll run out here, spawn these things. Biggest threat with the least amount of hit points, the Sorcerer. Oh, dog died. Good old dots. Ain't nothing beat a dot. Nope. I was unable to rescue her there. Feel bad, that means everything died once. I mean, I don't feel that bad, but I feel a little bad. Well, I think that should be everything we need to go get our saga, which will probably take us over our XP. And because they're gyms and stuff like that, it shouldn't be a problem if we go over our XP. Oh, that's not the worst, actually. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not probably going to want any of those. And unless we decide we want to have the upgraded kukri, which I'm not especially fond of right now, we'll just get that. Alright, we'll go get our saga reward, then we'll probably level, and then we'll see what happens after that. I'm not going to make any promises. If for whatever reason we don't take off here on our levels, we may look and see what else we can. Yeah, 26,000 XP seems pretty good. Yeah, that should be our last rank right there. Anything else like just spectacularly fun that we want to do at level 6 here? Oh, we can go purge the heretics real fast. Yeah, let's go purge some heretics. Quickest way through there's boat anyhow, so give me an excuse to go redo my Still think it'd be easier for everyone if they just gave us all the buffs. I don't see my teleport scrolls in here. I don't know what I did with them. Did we ever do Cage Trolls? Isn't that also a 6? Oh, this is her last quest, it looks like. It's a bit of a bummer, to be honest. I didn't get it off in time. I didn't get close enough to get the traps to go off to kill these guys. Oh. I do feel a little bad. Not that bad. Get out of here. Yeah, I wasn't for the fact that there's a collectible down here, I wouldn't even bother to come down here. Dogs are barking for something. I'm not sure what. These commoners have... that's a fighter wizard. Alright. Like, wow, these guys have got like a bunch of hit points, but... no, those are warriors. Commoners are still with like 23, 26. Behold the flaming fist! The Peacemaker. Oh, Little Miss Lightning Rod. Damn it. How are you still alive? Did I not kill you? I have healing spells, fool! I see, I see. Oh yeah, I forgot she's not here. Alright, we'll have to play it a little bit more careful than we were. Melee souls of cruelty aren't that big a deal. It's the souls that can magic missile you like a zillion times. Summon Wolf is tripped or dead? I think just tripped. Oh, dead. Wow. Lightbearer must have got him. Green Key and Ham. Oh, light's starting to bother me. Whatever. Just sold the quest. Hey, how's it going, mate? Personally, I'm tired as balls right now. Ugh. Apparently, I don't remember where any traps are in this quest. Just fair. Seriously? Farming gear for when you start racials? Yeah. There's what I was looking for. I thought there was a control panel nearby. the biggest thing about gear and farming gear, so you want to make sure you have stuff that's generally good. You also need to make sure that you have enough of a variety of things that you don't get bored. Yeah, Ravenloft stuff's pretty good. A lot of it. Oh, God, so tired. I do apologize. I am very tired. I had a hard time sleeping last night. I'm always having a hard time sleeping though. I don't know why it should surprise anybody. Yeah, I was wondering where Loaf was actually. He's usually here by now. Before he has to head off to work. No, I couldn't sleep. That's all. It's been happening more and more with my migraines and stuff. I can't fall asleep, and if I do fall asleep, then I can't stay asleep. It's weird, like I would much rather take a nap, like 3 or 4 naps, than try to get 8 hours of sleep. Because I know that I won't be able to sleep for 8 hours, but if I napped, got up, did some stuff, napped, got up, did some stuff, I would probably be able to get 8 hours of sleep, but over the course of, you know, like 15, 20 hours. Is that... Yeah, I know you, man. Who dis? Who dis? So this guy came back to send me a blind invite. Just a paladin LFGing for Delira. I mean, you're welcome to do so, but he knows that he just wants to drive me crazy with the letter. I have the feeling that it would drive other people crazier first. I don't know. I do hate this letter icon. Yeah, I just hate the icon on my screen. That's all. So I went ahead and I told that guy not to blind invite people. Told him just to send tells. We'll see. Alright, I think it's level time. Just run over here. Level up to Sweet 9. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't mind being asked. I just don't like being blind invited. Especially, you know, I could be in the middle of a... No, I mean, I was in the middle of a fight when he popped that up. But, like, it could have been a crucial fight. All of a sudden, that LFM invite pops up in the middle of my screen. Alright. Heal, spellcraft, spot. Disable, search. Are we finally ready to take completionist, or do we actually get to take it last level? Looks like we gotta take it last level, so that's nice. Part of me would like to continue just taking spell feats. Saying died in Amber Temple because of a blind invite identified. Exactly. It's like, come on, guys. But I have the feeling most of these people are newish and they don't understand that how this stuff affects other things. And we're going to take Empower spell. We don't really have that many crowd control affecting things yet. I'll scoot that over. I'm one of those weird people who still likes to put my meta magics over here and turn them on, and then turn them off. Oh shit, I should summon the dog and make sure he's trained up. Could be a sweet one in there. I mean, tails are just, again, like you said, you could just sit there, let it wait until you're ready to reply. I mean, I assume that whatever you're asking is not so important and needs my attention right that second. And if it does, I'll skim it. Level 9. I think we finally get a few things that kick in here, right? Like Titan Raid loot comes on. Which changes a lot of our build setup. Typically. It may not do much this life, though, to be totally honest. So let's take a look at some things. So we get some booties. Currently these are, it's kind of like generic boots, really. So we'll throw them down here in the questionable pile. Don't know. You have an 8 cloak? We do have an 8 cloak. We should have swapped this cloak already. The 8 cloak has a heavy fort gem in it. Yeah, I don't dislike the slaver stuff. I just didn't farm it all up, so I really just had this one ring that I made for my int spot resistance. Like it's my general thing, but like I'm a big fan of the jungle cloak. I'm a big fan of the belt of giant strength. Whatever the Titan's belt's called. I'm trying to think what else may actually get worn. Some lives Shattering Ring's really good. This could be one of those lives. At the bottom of the flask of rum at level 9 that gives the cure critical wounds and takes a neg level off. Yeah, I mean, you could put the extra work into it and get that extra 1 slot, but I usually don't have too many problems with minor gear upgrades. That, and it gives me something to do every level. I just like, look, here we go. Belt of brute strength. This is usually what I switch into. But that usually also means that I switch my hat. I don't know if I have a hat that I actually care about for this life in particular. I do want to grab the 7-finger gloves. There's some of the better gloves for this level. They usually don't get worn all the time, but they do usually get some sort of wear. Really am liking this song, I have to say. I want to try this ring at Nightfall at level 10. I think if I can work that in, that'll be quite strong. Coming to like Tin and Slice now. Yeah, I like Tin and Slice. It's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of the short sword that basically carried me through last life. Razor Wind. Razor Wind. There we go. Excuse me. Rind. It's a quite strong short sword in my opinion. The Star of Arin is a reasonable weapon at this level. I am going to go ahead and drag it onto my bar. Don't know how much we're going to use it, but I did throw a Featherfall gem into it. So at the very least that also gives us a Featherfall item that we can, if we feel like we need one. Anything else? I don't think there's probably anything else, like... I have a spellcasting hat on another character that I have used many times. We could try this snakeskin vest. I just don't think it's going to be as good. It's just like the life shield of invulnerability. We're not aggro or meleeing enough to make the Quicksilver cost worth it. But if you are meleeing, I do highly recommend it. It's pretty good. Spectrals are level 11. Alright. Do we have better hardy necklace? We have a 6 at 10. Okay, that's fair. So we don't have a necklace upgrade until next level, which means we don't really have like booty upgrades until next level either. So we usually switch into the belt of brute strength, and then we switch into like dodge boots, and then this hat can fluctuate between builds. But right now I don't have a into something more like this. But right now I don't have a plan to do anything fancy with our hat, and I really don't think I care that much. Like we're cruising along. Nothing seems to be that difficult yet. Times it's 1. We're gonna try to play another hour or so. See if we can make it. We may be too hungry. In fact, I might go grab a quick snack right now and just bring it back down. Probably wouldn't be the worst idea I ever had. That's fine. This is fine. Yeah, and if I had the time or the willingness to farm up more slaver stuff, I would probably agree. I don't have that willingness to go farm slavers. What does this one do? +2 enhancement to flanking attacks, granting them knockdown on 20. That's actually really strong. That knockdown on 20. I'm gonna go ahead and slip that over here. Why is it? We have to cast it in wolf form? Gross. Alright, well that's not gonna happen. I just don't care for the quests. I was taking Java at level 22 and running through them on just heroic elite for mats to get the ring that I wanted, and then I haven't done the quest since. I did not care for it. Speaking of things I do care for, I did warm up to Flame Strike last live, or a couple of lives ago, but I don't know how much I love it now. I don't know, I guess we'll try it. Yeah, they're long. It's that, and they just, I don't know, I didn't feel like they were that much fun. Need to get to 20 points in the tree. How many? We have 2 space. Okay, so we're not going to get up there for sure. Like, I'm more inclined to do that. I also do want to get up here. I just don't think we could spin those points right now. I can put them in here to get up here for the healing amp. I feel like maybe there's something else. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I had a group to go run them, it'd be a different story, but solo, they're not that fun for me. I don't understand this third paragraph. You are the protector of the natural order. Abjurations and undead take an extra d6 bane damage when affected by your offensive spells. Excuse me. This extra damage may only apply to one enemy at a time and only once every second. This only functions with spells that are purely offensive. Spells such as Cure Light Wounds that are castable on either friends or enemies are unaffected. Okay, so... Alright, that makes sense. The 1d6 only hitting one guy, that seems not worth it. Yeah, this Nature's Warden just doesn't seem like a good deal. So much of this tree seems bad. Yeah, I'm just going to take the true meta magics. Alright, I'm going to grab a quick something. I'll be back just in a minute. couple of quick animal or apple slices. St. Louis antique store owner formed positive relationships with police patrolling the area, so she decided to display an American flag containing a thin blue line. Basically the symbol of police sacrifice. The gesture didn't go over very well. People would come by and cuss, harass the customers. A month after taking down the flag, which now is moved inside of her store, she says that she has found large handwritten sign on the front window that reads, "Pig supporters not welcome, flag go down, or you do." On the right bottom corner of the sign is a hammer and sickle, presumably standing for communists in the former Soviet Union, along with the letters MLM, which often stands for Marxism, Leninism, Maoism. It's definitely a threat, Elder told the station, adding that the sign was big and for everyone to see. A nearby store has some boarded up windows as a bunch of people, I would say kids, whatever, are seen kicking in their window for having a sign in the storefront window. American flag with the blue line. Crazy. The American experiment could end. We are in danger from ourselves. Excuse me. Oh. I'm having an itchy nut today. Alright. That's way better. Woo! I instantly, almost instantly feel better. Getting some food in my stomach. My head's still throbbing a little bit, but not that bad. Alright, we are now level 9, which means we can work on 7s. Of which there are not really that many left, as we kind of skipped around. We can go out to Deliras. We can work on Guilins. Missing Party. The Pit. The Pit's one of my favorites. Let's grab a helper and let's go do the Pit. I try really hard not to get political on this stream. But I'm pretty pro-America. And I want it to stick around. We'll grab another favorite soul, even though I don't really know if that's what I need. Years ago, I had to have a tooth replaced, kind of in the middle. And the dentist did a fine job, but there's a gap. And it's about the thickness of a magic card. So I almost always get something stuck in that little gap. And it irritates me. I just want everyone to grow up and get along. No politics needed. Yeah, well, that's unfortunately a dream that'll probably never happen. As long as there's a need for some amount of government, there will be people who want to control it, and that will be political. It sucks, but that's just how it works. You can I've got to move the L. Can I just hide this particular one? I don't like that tweet. Sweet. Alright, perfect. Magic cards are my favorite form of measurement. I mean, the reason why I keep like, this is a Raging Hippo and this is a whatever carrion thing. But I clean that slot out when it really bothers me. Well, so first of all, let's also make sure we get this guy a couple of resistances. One of the major shifts that happened about 30 years ago is we used to have a pretty good rotation on political parties. Basically, if there was a Republican president, which there typically was, control was usually pretty evenly balanced. So things got done slow and they had to compromise and work it out. Somewhere in the last 30 years, give or take, approximately, people decided they didn't want to wait anymore. They wanted to do everything now, which is fair. Sometimes change feels slow, and it's probably a ramification of technology. I know, the conversation drifts there. I try. The problem is it literally is like 100% of my focus. I never said I was good at avoiding it. But we're political animals, and I am a political news guy. Like, I like reading about it, I like seeing what's going on, I like theorizing about things. If I was more into other video games, it would be a different story. I could talk about other video games or whatever. I'm just not into those. I'm not into other video games as much. I was messing around. No, now you did it. Now you did it, Sir Fuzzy. Can we get this guy healed, please? I try not to force my opinions down anyone's throat either. That's the other thing. I guess I bring it up because I was having a conversation with somebody last night who I thought made a good and interesting point of, hey, if you want to ban an AR-15, go buy one. I'm good. A little fuzziness up here, but good. Go buy an AR-15. If you want to ban AR-15s, go buy them. And buy them like hotcakes. And that will incentivize, like, the sales skyrocketing are more likely to inspire someone to take a look at it. I'm like, that sounds really good. Like, do it. Go through the paperwork. Figure it out. And by the end of the conversation, a guy was like trying to get me to defend what he perceived to be a contradiction in the First Amendment, and therefore the Constitution was basically invalid. And I'm like, dude, I just want to have an honest discussion about a problem and see if we could come to an agreement on what the problem even is before we start throwing out solutions that people aren't going to agree on. And it's kind of stuck in my craw a little bit, to be honest. Most of my friends that I feel comfortable discussing political beliefs or political options are, most of my friends are at least respectful enough to be like open-minded to the point where we can have a discussion. But this guy was just completely argumentative and basically got to the point where I was done talking with him. And finally, you know, but I was trying to be respectful and finish out thoughts and answer his questions. And finally he just got to the point where he's like, yeah, have a nice life, dude. Apparently you just want babies killed or whatever he said, and left. I was just like, that's really a problem. Fuzzy Boots, the sentient voices are cool at first, but after the billionth time you want to put tape over their sentient mouse. Yeah, I don't have a sentient weapon in any way, shape, or form, so I think it should have been something that you can level with you from 1 to the end game, and not 20 to 30. I was talking with Tobrel Sunday morning, I think, and he mentioned again it feels like the game is being de-incentivized to be played at large level ranges. Don't you want to see what the new raids are all about? Not really, I don't care. As Hart would say, Blah, I can listen to both sides and share an opinion. It's called debating. They don't teach that anymore. Well, I think this guy was probably a formally trained debater, to be honest. Like, his arguments, when he decided to have an argument, as opposed to just make an attack, was pretty well done. The problem is, I'm not a written debater. That's not my forte. And this guy clearly was. Like, that was his bag. I guess we should have waited on this. And clearly he has stuff, like, basically ready to go, where he can just copy from things and paste it. Would be my assumption. Like, he's got all these canned anti-gun arguments. Which, again, is fair. But, again, instead of, you know, countering my arguments, it was more of like, hey, so you're just not going to answer me about the First Amendment? Like, I did. Well, I find your argument, your reasoning to be invalid. So, you're just dumb. I'm like, what the shit? I think that's a lot of what certain people want to do. They just want to silence you. There's a difference between debating and being one-sided, yeah. The thing is, if somebody were to, and that's the other thing, he's like, yeah, I bet you, because I said, you know, I'm pretty well read on both sides of the topic, you know, I enjoy debate, and in fact, I have debated gun control, like removing guns, which is how I know that it is not a valid option. But I've argued for gun restrictions. But this guy just didn't have any part of it. I bet he has never had to stand up for keeping guns. But like with the Las Vegas shooting, you know, I fully agree. Like, yeah, we probably should have gun stocks, bump stocks, right? Like, if you can simulate an automatic weapon rate of fire, what's the real difference, the practical difference between it and an automatic weapon? And as a society, we've decided we don't want automatic weapons in the hands of people. Right, wrong, or indifferent. So why would we continue to allow something that basically does that? But I'm willing to say that I've argued both sides of an argument before I formed an opinion. I don't think everyone's willing to do that. It's not a valid option. There could be more restrictions. He's probably never had to deal with himself in real life. Yeah, well, I don't know. Again, and this isn't just one guy. There's a lot of guys. As soon as someone turns to name calling, is where I'm basically done with their arguments. And I don't know. I guess it hit me late enough last night that when I was in enough migraine pain that my brain didn't want to let it go, and so that is what's going on with me today, Ritz, and why I'm in fuzzy boots, and why it's on my mind. When stuff like that keeps me from sleeping, it gets stuck in there, I think about it. Because I do genuinely think about other people's sides. I'm like, well, am I being obtuse? Am I not seeing their point? Are they more valid than I'm giving them credit for? Alright, let's see if I'm right. This is candy cane. All I know is a lot of people who are complaining about guns and gun viability and stuff like that. They've never gone through the process. Which is always where I say start. Like, I have no problems with adding in more background checks. Or deeper background checks. If we go through the process and we decide that it's not enough. But I don't love the idea of somebody going in, taking a Xanax because your doctor said, hey, let's try putting you on Xanax a year ago, and now you can never own a gun again. I'm not cool with that. I think automatic and semi-automatic should be restricted, not banned. Use them on the range. Agreed. So, automatic weapons are restricted. They are not banned in the United States. All states except for 2 have very heavy restrictions, and you basically can't get them unless you are significantly wealthy. The exceptions to those rules are like Nevada and Maryland, I think, or Vermont, one of the 2 states. Semi-automatic weapons, I feel like more weapons are semi-automatic, and basically that just means that the action of the firing the bullet loads the next bullet in the chamber. That doesn't, I don't understand why people would have a problem with that. You want to try to make it where you have to manually load each round into the chamber? That doesn't make any sense. You can't have them in mass. I mean, that's another thing. Like, what stops you? Why would anyone say, wait, you can't have more than X number of gun? Doesn't make any sense to me. You know, like, this one? No, not gun. Not gun. H? Must be H. Let's see. Let's put the dog here. Like, it's nobody's business. It's like saying, oh, you don't need more than one car. That was the other thing. The guy, like, I drew the parallel. I was asked if I wanted to kill a bunch of people, what weapon would I use? Right? They're like, if you wouldn't want an AR-15, what gun would you use to kill a bunch of people? I'm like, well, I don't know what gun I would use. I don't think that a gun is necessarily it would not be the most efficient way to kill people. And I point out that automobiles are more deadly. Right? And I asked the question, if you're more worried about accidental deaths, wouldn't that mean that you'd want to get rid of cars? And that's where the guy, I think, like, really bared his teeth. He's like, well, you're saying you want to ban cars. I said, no, I'm not saying I want to ban cars. I'm saying, why don't we? Then I just asked if I could find an example of someone being killing a bunch of people. And so I pulled up the French attack, and I don't know. Well, that's just it. They're like, well, and then as soon as someone mentions it, they're like, oh, well, you have to have a license and insurance for a car. It's like, yeah, but how many people don't? You're talking about people who will follow the laws versus people who won't follow the laws. And then they're like, well, but the deaths are basically the same. It's a little bit more. It's a pretty small percentage. But they're counting in the 2/3 of death of suicides. I mean, there's just all these factors, and they're like, eventually, guys, like, you're comparing apples to oranges. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to use the same stats you're using, buddy. I don't know. I'll admit, I am pro Second Amendment. I think that everyone should be trained, and I think that to use a firearm, whether or not you choose to use that firearm is up to you. But I think you should at least have the basic understanding of how they work and how to take care of them. Because you never know when you're going to need to know things. And it can't hurt to have the knowledge, right? Like Mike's son, he knows more about individual guns than I do. Right? Like, he can identify different rifles and what the magazine types are and all sorts of stuff like that. Why? Because he plays games that are super realistic and they modeled after all these real life guns. Which I think is good, but then they don't model safety, right? They don't teach you how to be safe with it. They teach you all about it and what's the best rate of fire and most damage, and so we as a people need to counter that, I think. Again, I don't like the idea of forcing a requirement. Like, you have to do this, but I think that it needs to be something, if you're going to be in a public school, which again I don't agree with, but if you're going to be in a public school, one of the public school functions should be if you go through sex ed, which they've decided is part of a public school requirement, then you should be able to go through gun safety. Teach you how to make a life, but not to defend one seems awful to me. But again, this is where people don't have to agree with me. I'm totally willing to listen to other arguments. And again, I've argued against things. I don't know. I just wish people could get over their shit for 5 minutes. Someone I really like and respect today said, I think that these kids in Florida should be allowed to politicize this if they want. I agree. However, I also think that people shouldn't make decisions when they're angry. So maybe we shouldn't make policy when we're still raw from the tragedy. Everyone's military in my family, our guns are always locked and kept locked just proper. 100%. Which is part of the... Like right now, I do not carry concealed. I probably should. I personally feel like I don't practice enough to be comfortable carrying concealed. I would have to go to the training... the training ground. I would have to go to the shooting range significantly more often to feel where I was adequate to be an adequate shot. But I don't even mind if they protest where they're outraged. Like, that's fine. Like, you're hurting, you want to do something, I can appreciate that. And I don't care if you shout out or whatever, but I don't want to see any laws changed right now because people aren't thinking straight. Well, I told this story before, but I got a call that my house in Niles was being broken into. I had a renter who I ended up having to evict, which cost me about $2,000 by the time it was all said and done to just get him evicted. And he did not take advantage of his opportunity to take his belongings. So legally those belongings become mine. I don't want them. I didn't want them. I never wanted them. But I don't want him to, like, I went and I changed the locks and did all the things I was supposed to do as a landlord. You know, all the things that were recommended to me by the law. And then I get this phone call that someone has broken into my house. So I call the police, right? And I start heading out there. I get out there, no police. I'm like, okay. No problem. So I just sit and watch, right? From down the block. Hey, Load Beef, there you are. Sit and watch from down the block. After about 5 or 10 minutes of us just sitting there watching, we're spotted. And the guy looks pissed. And I don't know if he's armed or not. So I get out of the car. My wife stays in the car. And I walk him away from the car with my wife. And I'm like, hey man, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And I talk to him for a little bit. Eventually we end up back in the house. And I'm like, dude, you can't be here. Your cops are on their way. You're gonna get in trouble. When I tell him that, he grabs a knife and starts to he was mad. Like, I legitimately thought he was gonna stab me. I put my hands up and I'm like, hey man, you need to just relax. You know, you don't want to get in any more trouble by attacking us or anything. Right? You want to just calm down. So I start backing out. I eventually am able to leave without getting stabbed. And we start to go. And he decides that, you know, maybe it is actually serious that the police have been called. And he starts to leave. And he gets in his U-Haul. And he like tries to ram our car to be able to get away. Like, if it was just, we were very lucky not to be seriously injured by him hitting us with that car. And then about another 20 minutes later, the cops showed up. So it took them well over 30 minutes to respond to our call. Probably closer to 45. And I'm just like, had he decided to go violent and stab me, or if I was not able to get out of that situation, like, I could have very easily been killed or bleeding or seriously injured. And the only reason why I didn't grab my gun that day was because I was not 100% sure that if I had to defend myself in that way, I wouldn't. Or because I had it, I would be able to get in more of a situation where it would be more likely that I would be willing to pull a trigger. Which I didn't want. Like, this was, in my opinion, a good guy until he decided to, like, not pay his rent, make me have to, like, go through this process, and but there's plenty of situations where that could have went the other way. Things could have turned sour. I don't know. I said I should probably carry more often. Get in the habit. get comfortable. We just don't really have a range here. Like, the nearest real range is Manhattan. I never needed one before because I lived far enough out in the country I could just not worry about it. I could just, you know. On the fence about going to Black Panther today. All the good seats are already spoken for. I can't say anything about how important a good seat is. Because I kind of made a big deal, and my wife and I went early enough to make sure we got good seats. But what I can tell you is I thought the movie was really good. There's a handful of issues with it. But those issues were small. And I think that it's definitely worth seeing. I don't think I'd see it twice, but I would definitely watch it. Well, I should. Okay, I wouldn't see it twice in the theater, but if someone gave me a digital copy of it tomorrow, I'd probably be willing to watch it again at home. It's not worth paying another $12 to go see it, but I would definitely, in the theater, but I'd definitely watch it for, if I had a copy. Yeah, I have a gun, but I said it's for self-defense and target. I do keep a loaded hand crossbow by my bed, which is better than keeping a loaded gun. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Well, we watched it in 3D. I thought the 3D was pretty good too. Like, it wasn't great, and some of the action scenes were a little bit confusing, but because of the rolling around 3D stuff, but for the most part it was pretty good. I'd give it more than a 9. It's definitely like a 9.2 or 9.3. Not a huge 3D fan. Yeah, well, neither's the wife, but I usually make her go to certain ones in 3D. And I thought that Black Panther would be, from some of the previews, I felt like it'd probably be worth it, and I think it was. Like, the best one for 3D was Doctor Strange by far. Is it more than 2 hours? I don't remember the runtime, to be honest. I felt the tempo was really good. A lot of people are complaining about it, but I felt it was good. So it's hard for me to kind of, like, it didn't feel long, and it didn't feel short. Like, it did feel like it was worth the amount of time you sat in the theater. It was very enjoyable. I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to, I don't want to, I mean, I do want to talk it up because it was definitely good. And people, if you haven't seen it, it's worth seeing. And if you like Marvel movies. I watched some people really tear into it this week, or today, which I feel is probably overly critical. Just pulled heroic crumbling gloves. Not sure what that is, but probably some sort of Ravenloft gear, I presume. Oh. Tobrell's uploading his Paris pictures. I guess I would say if you're excited to watch it, you don't need the best seats. You don't need to wait for a great seat if you're excited to watch it. If you're not that excited to watch it, then you should you could wait. Ooh. Wow, they all decided to become champions there. Wasn't that special? Alright. See if we can get away with not splitting oozes now. Seems unlikely. It seems like we're supposed to split oozes, but... well... I don't know, I'm just still trying to decide if I want to run the Ravenloft stuff on heroic again, or if I want to go ahead and run Reaper when I go and I do them here next level, or maybe the 12. I don't remember if they're. I think they're 10, so it'll probably be 12 actually. Somebody pull that lever. Somebody pull it again. Convinced you just bought a ticket. Excellent. Come on. Come on. Big jump. That'll work. Come here, you little son of a beach. Someone go pull the damn lever. Well, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I need to personally need to get my act together when it comes to a couple of things, but when it comes to streaming more regularly. Oops. I feel I'm about to get fireballed. Oh, we didn't. We got away. Alright. I don't know. I really want to take a nap. I think we're good, right? Yeah, we're good. And I was thinking about wrapping up after this quest, but I don't know, maybe we stick it out. I was thinking a quick nap before the gym would be really nice. How did Popper go? We didn't play Popper. It was fine though. The Popper deck's working out. I'm trying to think how many games I've actually lost now. Like maybe 2. 2 out of 10 or 15. And some more cards have come in that have definitely helped it a lot. There's that 2/2 prowess guy who gains lifelink when he gets prowess. Can't think of his name, but he was a uncommon in drag or But he was a common in one of the other sets that they did. We're going to take this a lot slower than we normally would. Mostly because I did not bring a shield scrolls. I forgot. So I'm going to try to take that kind of slow. Oh, they made it! Holy crap. I did not expect them to make it. Well, that's excellent. But anyway, I got, God, I can't think of his name. I got those guys in, so now I get to switch like a filler that I had in. Yeah, Seeker the Way, that's it. Yeah, Seeker the Way. Because we couldn't find my original copies, it was just cheaper to order them. Than to spend forever trying to find them. And then I got the red deals 1 damage to a creature and 1 damage to their owner unless you played a land. I want to say like Searing Blaze maybe is what it's called. I picked up some of those. So that really helps. But I have to say the Hearth Charm, so good. Way better than I originally thought. Like, well, how did you get... There's a lot more artifact creatures being played that I thought. So there's a lot of 1 mana like kill a guy, but also being able to just make your guy unblockable is really strong as well. And then I was able to pump my entire team +3. So when you have like 1 mana to do 3 damage is pretty good. You know, it's lightning bolt range. But if you have 4 creatures, obviously 1 mana for 4 damage is way better. I don't know, I think it really depends on your meta. It may be better or worse. The Fire Up the Peasants or whatever it's called, I also thought was really good. Smash the Smithereens costs 2 and only has that option. Again, I would play a worse card that has options to be like really good in certain situations than like the only creature that doesn't get unblockable from it is Seeker of the Way, because if Seeker of the Way you cast it targeting Seeker of the Way, it gets the prowess trigger and becomes a 3 power guy, but everyone else can become unblockable. Are we? I don't know, we're ransack. Alright. One of these, one of these. It worked out real nice. I was doing like 1 or 2 of each of the different ones, I think I'm just gonna go 4 of the Hearth Charms now. Although I'm gonna try out the Syrian Bloods. But I've used all 3 modes on it. So to me, that tells me that the card is good. If you end up using all 3 modes over the course of play testing, like it was never bad. Alright, are we ready? Are we good to complete? Looks like it. This is one of the times where I usually look to see if I have an XP pot. Don't think I do. It doesn't look like it. What is the Reaper XP for that? 300. Oh, boo. Neil deGrasse Titan, which is a guy that I do not like, at all, apparently released a statement over the weekend that people should give up God because they haven't figured out that hopes and prayers don't stop bullets. Thought that was kind of a jackass thing to say, in light of Albert Einstein's quote here that Samius bot decided to pull out. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. I always kind of thought he was blind. Just pulled the quiver. Woot. Congrats. Congrats. Ooh. Alright, well I think I'm going to eat, grab a nap, try to get ready for the gym. The wife has a class that she has to do. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Neil deGrasse. I kind of think he's an asshole and he tries to push things on people in a way that is not beneficial. Personally. But I don't know. I also don't like Bill Nye the Science Guy, and to me they're kind of like opposite sides of the same coin. They're just meh. But I don't know. A couple of religious scholars I think are trying to tag him back and explain that prayer isn't to get you your wishes. It's not rub on a magic lamp that is God. It's to change your individual heart into doing more good. That's the purpose of prayer. And if you don't think prayer has value, then it doesn't have value. If you do think it has value and you're giving it to people, then it's The people who believe prayer has value, it has value for. And to hear that someone is praying for you, if you believe prayer has value, then it is very meaningful. If you don't think prayer has value, then it's like any other sentiment. It's like saying, oh, well, sorry you got mana screwed, buddy, but I'm gonna take my easy victory and go. You know, I have a friend who, it's basically, again, the exact same thing, where a friend of mine, when he loses in a tournament because of something like that, like mana screw or something, and people are like, oh man, good game. He's like, no, it wasn't. You know it wasn't. Or they're like, oh, sorry you got screwed. I didn't want to win like that. Like, yeah, you did. That's a no-risk way to win. He's very upfront about that kind of stuff. Alright, anyway, I'm going to lay down, get something to eat. I'll be back later tonight. Tanya's got a class that she's going to go to, so I'll probably be back early. And then for a little window until she comes back, and then I'll probably hang out with her, and then I'll be back later. In my opinion, if you need a god to be a good person, you are weak. So this is a good discussion for when I have more time. But I don't think it's the idea that you need a god to be good. It's that goodness comes from somewhere, and religious people believe that place is good, which basically means all of the goodness that you have comes from God. Right? So that is why religious people believe that. What kind of irritates me about religious people, myself included, is that sometimes it's real easy to see the evil in people's hearts and sometimes judge them. Like I try really hard to make sure I never judge anybody for what they think, just what they do. So like I know lots of not religious people. Some of my best friends are atheists, and we can talk about this stuff all the time. The other thing that you need to be careful with when you are discussing religion and politics and policy is to not use your religion as a crutch for policy. And that's the other thing that you got to be careful of. So, I mean, religion is, you know, a double-edged sword. But I would also say that everybody believes in something. Whether it's a faith or the goodness of people or the universe, magic of the universe, or science has kind of taken the place of that for a lot of people. So I think that we're kind of hardwired to believe in something or have faith in something. So in my mind, and this is what like Albert Einstein said and some other famous scientists say, it just makes sense to believe in a god, because if you're wrong, what was the harm? Yeah, well, and I, as a terrible Christian, I will say to you, Load Beef, that if you decide to change your mind, I'm here to talk to you about it. But I'm also not going to like try to convince you of it unless you come to me and you're like, hey, this is a problem. What do you believe and what do you think? So with that, guys, thank you very much for spending a little bit of your time with me today. Keep an eye on the Twitter feed / here on the channel for when I have an opportunity to jump back on. Like I said, after the gym, the wife, I think, has a class at 6, which means basically I can come right back at when she's gone until she gets back. So we'll see what happens, and we'll be back with more Dungeons and Dragons Online. Toodles.